The Lake Erie Grape Discovery Center is the official visitor center for the New York State Lake Erie Concord Grape Belt Heritage Area. Supporting and promoting the grape industry, visit us and learn about grape growing history in the Lake Erie region. Shop for grapey gifts, taste local wine in a Concord vineyard. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome again to Chautauqua Sunrise. Well, summer has been extended, and I'm loving every minute of it. Boy, it's been really quite nice. We had a little bit of rain, but certainly we needed it. And it's good news for our friends that are doing the grape harvest right now. Usually they're in half a foot of snow or blustery weather, but good on you guys. So hope you're enjoying the weather and getting out there to these fall festivals that are popping up everywhere and wine festivals. It's a good time to be in Chautauqua County. Just a few things I want to share with you, then we're going to get right into our show because we're going to do things a little differently today. We're going to do all our announcements and that towards the end in light of assisting our guest who has a tight schedule. You know, when I'm looking at the news reports these days, and we talked about this from time to time, but golly, Chautauqua County is looking better and better and better weather-wise and a place to live every day. I mean, I'm so saddened to see what's going on in other states and other countries, but, you know, we really don't deal much with horrific kinds of weather and things like that. We don't get hurricanes here. Oh, maybe an occasional tornado, baby one or something like that. We might get a rumble of an earthquake because we do live on the fault line here. But, and then as far as fires go, holy mackerel, tragedy in California, but we don't deal with those kinds of things. And, you know, we don't deal with drought really. And so, I mean, gosh, appreciate what you got here, folks. I mean, this place is just a great place to live. I love Chautauqua County. And I hope you appreciate it just as much. So that's my good on us comment for the day. Got a couple things I want to announce as far as birthdays. We celebrated my dog's birthday yesterday, Mr. Max. Everybody knows him around here at the studio. You see him in the opening credits if you watch it. He turned 7 yesterday. He's a fun dog. You know, and it was amazing. I posted his picture on Facebook, and I don't know, he got like more likes than I usually do for my birthday. We love our animals, don't we? And we love our pets, our cats, our whatever, turtles, fish. and they seem to really make a difference in our lives. And Max is our third dog, and we've had good fortune to have dogs that have lived long, so I'm hoping Max is with us for a good long time as well. And speaking of longevity, I was told that our head engineer, Jeff Zook, has a special birthday today. Is that true, Jeff? Silent.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes, it is. And today's the big one. They're always a big one, I guess.
60.
60 years old. Well, happy birthday. Is Galen doing anything special for his big brother?
I'm sorry?
Is Galen going to do anything for you for your birthday, your brother?
I have no idea.
I bet it's going to be a big surprise. If I know, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
Well, anyways, and we encourage you folks that are watching and to give us a call at 753-5225 if you have a birthday you want to announce or an anniversary. Also, an organization, a club, you have a fundraiser coming up, email us, text us, let us know what's going on in the community. We're happy to share that. And also, I want to say good afternoon to our friends at WRFA 107.9, low power to the people over at Jamestown. And thanks for joining us this afternoon at Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. And we're happy to be talking with you. And unfortunately, you can't call us right now, but you can certainly text us and email us later on. Okay, with that, I just want to get right into our show today. Like I said, we're going to do announcements later on. So I want to welcome back a regular visitor here at the show, John Paul Wolfe, curator at the Chautauqua County Historical Society. Did I get it right this time around?
You finally learned it.
Would you say there's like 27, 26 different?
Over between 20 and 30 historical society museums of one kind or another in the county.
That's terrific. John, you've been with the Historical Society how long now?
12 years, I think.
12 years. Okay, did you do that like when you retired? Is that?
Well, I got on the board just before I retired,
Okay.
and then we were reorganized. So I've been curator at the museum. It's my official title since 2007.
Okay. And
That's 10 years.
10 years. So for those who are listening and watching right now, what basically does a curator do?
I'm not sure.
You don't know.
Takes care of all the stuff in the building, all the collections, trying to organize and evaluate and get people to work on projects.
Now, all kidding aside, do you need any special training for this, or?
Well, you should have training, and mine is none. I drew the short stick on the board when we reorganized. We're a working board from all over the county, and there's probably, I think there's 14 right now board members, and one person does the newsletter, one person does the website, and I got the short stick of doing the curator, and I also run the antique show.
It's got to be a lot of responsibility to accept something very precious from somebody and then preserve it or conserve it, I guess you use different terms, for others to see and share.
Right, and we have to be very selective because we have limited space there, and we have lots of paper, but we think, we haven't gotten through everything, we think we have between 400,000 and 500,000 items.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and it's a collection of amazing stuff, amazing.
So, and I've been there. Let's say somebody were to walk in and say, I'd like to see this item. I mean, do you have a catalog so you can say it's in the blue room?
Or in box, if it's paper, box 28 in storeroom.
So really, and that's part of your
That's
your
part of the
position
goal
as
is to
curator.
make sense of that. None of that existed in 2007, so we've gone a long way.
So you're sort of like a historical librarian in some respects.
Yeah,
in
I was
cataloging.
meeting a guy yesterday who wants to give us some stuff, hopefully, and he said, well, when he found out I was an art teacher, he said,
Oh, no!
when we were talking, he said, well, it seems to me you're the organizer, and I said, that's my job. I organize and figure out where it needs to logically be put, and then how we can make sure we know where it is and access it so we get it into the inventories. and
Prior
things.
to the show, you and I were talking about artifacts that we have in our family attics and heirlooms and things like that. So what kinds of things do you accept, or does it have to be from Chautauqua County?
Chautauqua County, really. We have stuff that isn't, but we'd like to make that go. So it's just Chautauqua County, or New York State if it's some kind of national or international kind of concept, but pretty much Chautauqua County. We can almost always take photos and and diaries and that kind of stuff. Paper doesn't take up a lot of space, although it seems to be taking up more space. But objects we have to be very selective on because of the nature of the beast. We just don't have the space.
And what about a time period? Are you looking?
Anything. I'm collecting, like with our military collection, our uniforms and things, we're collecting right now for Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, all those kinds of, for Chautauqua County soldiers. We are doing that for people in the future. So all the way from when we started, and we even actually have Revolutionary War stuff, but all the way through to the present day. It's kind of hard to figure out what you want to save from yesterday that may be important in 50 years. You know, that's a problem and a call. But
okay, you made me think of something. A lot of the guys that, well, women too, that were in World War II were in Europe, and they brought back stuff. And lots of it, unfortunately, is the Nazi era and Nazi artifacts. I'm assuming you don't.
We don't really have a lot of. We have a couple of odd things that were there, Nazi things, and from World War I, that kind of stuff. Not a lot of that. It helps tell a story. I know I've already given, my father was in World War II in Europe, and he had a really neat, it was an ashtray made out of the bottom of a shell, a brass shell.
Okay.
But on the out, and he's from Westfield, and on the outside it's engraved with, it was done over there, I'm sure, with exactly where he was when he was in Austria and the date, and when he was in Germany and the date, and all that.
Sort of like a running diary.
Right, it is. And then there's coins where the cigarettes would have been held that are from each of those, because he was in Austria and France and Germany and all those areas.
Right.
And so, I mean, that, to me, that is, you know, it's not just something that came over. I know my brother has 3 wooden toys, because my brother was born before the war, and that he sent over, he had made over there, and that really neat wooden toys that I'm trying to get him to give to me. So it's selective.
Right. So what I guess what I'm getting at is a lot of places will not display the swastika. They won't display Hitler's picture. I mean,
we haven't had it out. We haven't gotten to the point of should we just. We have a couple of really neat Nazi flag kinds of things, but when we do World War II display, I don't know if we put it out or not.
Okay, because I just was wondering if you had a policy on that, because I do know that some places just won't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, so John, when I invite you here, I give you carte blanche. I don't even know what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, I'm not sure either. It's
whatever
that's
the fun of having you here.
The upcoming events for the Historical Society.
Shall we start there then? Let's do
sure,
that. Okay.
Sure thing. So the first thing I want to talk about is the lighthouse, the Barcelona Lighthouse. If we have a picture, I think of that that I sent in. A few years ago, the state of New York purchased the Barcelona Lighthouse. And it's now a state park. It must be the smallest state park in New York, because it's just literally the lighthouse, the keeper's cottage, and the land that's right there. But they weren't sure what to do with it. And so it was land bank for a little bit. And then last year, after some work that the state did, they did a contract with the town of Westfield, because they had a visitor center for the town of Westfield down by the pier.
Right.
And so they moved that into what is the dining room last summer of, not like a year ago, of the keeper's cottage, and visitors and tourists come in and pick up brochures and things like that. Well, now this year, the living room, the Chautauqua County Historical Society has the use of the living room as a satellite museum. I've been putting together stuff, and we've got more to put in down there, just on Barcelona. So we took all the stuff that we have on Barcelona and moved it down there. And Lake Erie fishing industry is all that. So right now there's probably 50 or 60 early photographs. They're copies. We don't ever put photographs out. We make copies of them. We have those, and then some artifacts and some oil paintings, and there'll be more that I will be pulling out and getting ready to go down there for next summer. It's not open in the winter. They're closed now. It's open from, I think, May to September, something like that.
Cool.
And it's open every day, and it's staffed with volunteers. The town of Westfield does that. If anybody's interested in that, I'm not involved with it, but the town of Westfield, the new person for next year running the volunteers is...
They could call the town. They could call the town.
Town of Westfield, because I'm drawing a blank. Isler. Isler. She was town clerk, I believe, at one point. Anyway, call the town. It's
Okay.
like, anyway, I'm sorry about that. The reason I'm talking about that is because we do have this new satellite museum, but also there are 5 or 6 different state parks in Chautauqua County. I mean, Chautauqua County is an amazing thing. We have Long Point State Park, we have Lake Erie State Park, we have Midway State Park, there's one in Silver Creek, I don't know what it's called, and we have Barcelona. So is that 5? I think that's 5. I mean, so in Little Chautauqua County, we have 5 New York State parks, believe it or not.
I'm trying to think what's in Silver Creek.
Well, there's another, like, something there. I know it's something, but I don't know
I
something.
don't either.
Anyway, we're pretty lucky about that. When Midway was purchased and started, one of the problems the state parks has is they can put money into kind of restoration things, limited amount, but they have to have a Friends of, and there's a Friends of Midway State Park to do the funding in the nonprofit. It has to be an organized nonprofit group, and then like Friends of Midway, they did the miniature golf course. They restored or did the funding for restoration of the carousel, that kind of stuff. Well, now Barcelona is a state park, so we have a meeting on Saturday, October 28th. At the Keeper's Cottage at the Lighthouse at 9 o'clock for anyone who's interested, and it's to form a Friends of the Barcelona Lighthouse.
Okay.
And the first thing that has to be done is then create a nonprofit status, and there is a grant available, and we're rushing it because there's a grant deadline that's due in, I think, November, December, to fund that whole legal paperwork stuff to
501c3
create
type
it.
thing,
Yes.
yeah.
So that's what, we're having a meeting down there for anyone who's interested in saving and preserving and being involved with the Barcelona Lighthouse. So it's October 28th, Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10. At the Keeper's Cottage.
Okay, and we'll announce that for the next couple of weeks as well.
And the goal is, because the state has already done a study, and the lighthouse itself has to be restored. It's not open to the public because of its condition. That's around $650,000 to restore just that structure.
Wow.
It's the neatest structure inside. I don't know if you've ever been in and looked in. It's really neat.
I'd love to go in there. Now, this particular lighthouse was the first
Gaslit lighthouse in the world.
Wow.
1828. It didn't really work very well. If anyone's familiar with Ottaway Park, there's a stream right there, and down in the stream there's bubbles coming up, and if you find a place where there's strong bubbles, you can light the water.
Reed Powers always talked about that
It's
on
still
his
there.
show.
Anyway, that's where it was. They caught the gas and took it over, but it was not very consistent. Let's put it that way. So it was changed over, but that is one of its important things.
Okay, now folks that are listening across the county right now, they may not realize that Barcelona is an entity unto itself.
Right. It's like the suburbs of Westfield in a way. It was very important harbor and very important shipping thing. Before we were around, it was because it's on the Portage Trail, and we have the harbor. And where the harbor was is not where it is now. Most people think that's the harbor right in front of the lighthouse there with the. It wasn't. Where our beach is, all the gravelly part over to the west, that was the harbor. And there were big piers that went out because to get the ships, and out at the end of these piers, there were barns out there for the warehouses out at the end of these piers in the 1820s, 30s, 40s. I mean, it was a whole different world because before trains, we were very important.
Well, that explains a lot of, folks like myself, we like to go out looking for beach glass and things like that. And you see remnants of
Odd things.
There
are some piers on one area way out, because these piers went out a long way that are still in the water. And then the federal government put in a break wall, and the break wall was kind of where if you go down the beach and then that sticks out just before the gorge. Well, that's where that's why that's there. And
it's like a sandbar there, so that makes sense.
Somewhere out there are still remnants of whatever.
And there's a shipwreck out there too.
No, there's lots of shipwrecks.
But I mean, I did some research one time, and it was a predominant, I think, 1846 or something like that.
That's a whole history.
Helen Strong, I think, was the name of the ship. So I wrote a song about it. That's why I thought it was pretty cool. But okay, wow. Let's see.
So that's number one in my.
All right. So as far as the lighthouse goes, there's a meeting. But to go into the lighthouse today, is it Do you have to pay to go in there?
No, everything's free.
Excellent.
And of course, you can't go in today, but it'll be reopened in May next year.
Close
but
to the
it's free,
season.
and so you can go in and see the two of the rooms of the keeper's cottage. One is now a museum. The other one is free, and the other one is the visitor center for brochures and information. And they get an amazing number of people down there. I mean, sometimes 15, 60 a day, and 2 tour buses just show up. You know,
A lot of times I ride my bike and I'll stop down there and just take a break. And like you say, there's people from around the world taking pictures of it, or they've never seen the Great Lakes and they're just.
It's a great view, and the front
It's
porch,
awesome there.
which is facing the water, the front porch is amazing. I send people from the museum I said, it's not open, but don't worry about it. Nobody's going to arrest you. There's 3 places to park right by the lighthouse there, and just walk out to the front and sit on the benches on the front porch. I don't know if
Let's
that
ad-lib
picture-
this. Justin, let's pull this picture. Your dad took this picture.
I'm moving out of the way here.
Let's zoom in there, and John, you can narrate this.
Well, so right there,
Right there.
right there in the front, that's of
porch?
course the keeper's cottage, but there's this covered front porch, and there's benches out there you can sit on.
I never knew that.
And
I
it's
should do
got
that.
a great view of the whole harbor now, and this, of course, is what we're talking about. All that covering on the, I never knew there was a window on that side. All the covering on the rubble stone structure. At some point, somebody put concrete to waterproof it, and that's part of the problem. Is that has to all be removed. It's causing problems. But inside, from the bottom to the top, there is a tree trunk. Now,
Inside
it's-
the lighthouse?
That's what holds up the stairs. It goes the whole length, one trunk goes up there. I mean, there's no bark on it, but in the center, and then off of that, the stairs are mortised into the tree trunk, and then they're mortised into the stone. And it's a circular staircase that goes all the way up.
And the tree is preserved at the moment? I mean,
No,
or-
it's okay, I believe. It's the stairs that are falling off.
Isn't that fascinating?
Right.
I
Now,
definitely got to get in
The
there.
keeper's cottage is much bigger than it was. It was enlarged several times. The original keeper's cottage was probably half of the size it is now, but that was changed.
Was this a private residence at one point? And then they
So
sold it?
the state, the federal government decertified the lighthouse in
Okay.
1850. I'm no good at dates, but
That's okay.
1850s. And it went up for auction. There's a poster in the original poster in the lighthouse about the auction, and people were, maybe in the wrong space. The problem was you could bid on the lighthouse, but you had to remove it. It couldn't stay on that land. The land was owned by the Chautauqua Land Company, which was the Pattersons still owned the land that it was on. And so if you bought it, well, who's going to move that stone structure? So the only person that bid on it was, let me think, Lieutenant Governor Patterson, who owned the land underneath it. So that's how the
How convenient that was.
How convenient. So they ended up owning the lighthouse since the 1850s.
Okay.
And then they did the enlargement of the keeper's cottage and did various things. Then finally, Faith Crandall Scott, who is the great-granddaughter of G.W. Patterson, she inherited it, and she lived there until the 90s.
Okay, because I thought somebody was living
Yeah,
there.
so she lived there for 15, I don't know where she was before that, but she was living there for 15 or 20 years, I
Wow.
think. And then the family sold it, and then it was sold again, and then finally the state bought it.
Well, it is a beautiful location. so-
Gorgeous.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the lighthouse.
So that's coming up on the 28th. Okay.
Right. Our next thing is our speaker series. We do 4 or 5 talks every year. We've been doing papers and/or talks with the Historical Society since 1884. We started in 1883. We have some of our talks, we have 300 or 400 online on our website, and we found a whole bunch of them, and we have some even from 1884. And you can just go there and read the whole talk. Anyway, we have a speaker's talk coming up. Saturday, November 4th is the last one for the year, and it's at 10 o'clock, and it's the James Prendergast Library in Jamestown is where it's going to be. We move around the county. We just did one on cheese and wine,
Right.
cheese making. That was up in Silver Creek at Liberty Vineyards. We did one on women's suffrage because it's 100th
Yeah,
year.
Michelle Henry was here talking about that.
Right. So anyway, the problem is I found out late yesterday, that the topic was supposed to be paper money in Chautauqua County. Banks printed their own money.
Right. A lot of people don't realize that.
And Leo DeLiba is the expert on paper money and Chautauqua County, and he's out of Jamestown, and he had to cancel because he's very ill.
Oh boy.
So we found that out yesterday. So you people are the first people to find out that it most likely, as far as I know, I'm not on the program committee, but that may not be that won't be the topic because we don't have anybody else to fill that topic in. We'll change the topic and we'll get out information. It probably is going to be something related to World War I.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of World War I stuff. We just finished transcribing a phenomenal diary, 2-year diary, and the guy was then mustard gassed, and he's Chautauqua County guy. It's a great story, and he kept these wonderful drawings that he did and the diary, and so it may be a focus on that.
Okay, well, as soon as you find out, send it over, and we'll.
But I can tell you, it is still scheduled for Saturday, November 4th.
At the Prendergast.
At 10 o'clock in the morning at the Prendergast Library in Jamestown.
And is that free, a cost?
Oh yeah, everything's free. We always do. Our talks are always free. We don't, as James O'Brien used to say, we just give everything away. I said, hey, it's working, isn't it?
Fascinating. World War I.
Right. Yeah, we've had some amazing numbers on these talks this year.
But going back to local banks and the currency, I belong to the Jamestown Coin Club. Every once in a while, some local currency will come up. The Bank of Jamestown, the Bank of, I don't know, Dunkirk. I'm making this up. But they were pretty interesting looking pieces of paper. Right. Pretty artistic. And
well, you can show the one. There's a banknote there I brought in.
Jeff, can we pop up that picture of the
I forgot I had it because I just canceled the whole thing today. But
right, Jeff, we have that that slide on there.
No. It's looks like a dollar bill. Probably could be at the last. I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk. Anyway, but
there it comes.
There we go.
Yeah, there exactly.
So that's a Chautauqua County Bank note, $10 bill. Now you'll notice, first of all, Chautauqua was spelt with an E, not an A.
We're at the very end. I can't see.
We're at the very top, the big one, the big letters there, Chautauqua.
Well, I gotta look
because
at this one.
Chautauqua was originally spelt with an E, and they changed it. The Board of Supervisors changed the spelling in the late 1860s or 70s because everybody pronounced it Chautauqua. So you can date things based on E or A. But that's from the Chautauqua County Bank, which was Eli T. Foote. And we have the Foote Avenue, and we also have all of the Foote scrapbooks. He's an amazing person. We have his portrait, but that's an 1835 banknote. His signature's at the bottom as president. Then on the other side is the cashier, and then up at the top there's a serial number and the date it went into circulation.
So for those that are listening on WRFA right now, we're looking at a piece of paper that's kind of like, we say manila colored, kind of tan. And it's got a big X for 10 and like Roman numeral and 10 on the other side. And then there's a woman sitting, look like she's looking at flowers or something.
Yeah, and then there's a ship on the other side. And
oh yeah, I didn't notice that. And then there's something else in the other corner, which I can't tell.
And it's only printed on one side. Okay. The back has no printing on it at that point.
And then everything in those days was signed by the individual, because then you could prove that it was.
And that went along. People don't realize how long that happened. It didn't. The Federal Reserve didn't start printing money until 1913 or 1914. Believe it or not. My grandfather was in the Bank of Westfield, and he was assistant cashier, and I have one of his $5 bills that he signed in 1908.
Cool. Wow.
So it could have been a great talk. Hopefully we'll get it rescheduled.
Yeah,
but anyway, too bad you're not seeing it, or we're not going to do talking about it. But that's why it's up there.
At least from a historical point of view, for today's discussion, a lot of people probably don't even realize that's the way currency was back then. And I even know in the Revolutionary War, because I came across a piece from the 1700s when I was evaluating a collection one time, and long story, but it was stuck in an envelope with a $5 bill, and I pulled out the $5 bill and I said, it's worth so much money. And then for whatever reason, I just held the envelope,
those little ones up,
and it was a little itty bit 6 shilling or something like that, and it was hand signed, just like you say, dated and everything. And I think it was from Boston or someplace, and it was like worth over $1,000 or something like that. But that's how they did things, and think about the durability of that. Think about the fires they had in those days. That really wasn't a great way to go, but some of it survived, and it's really cool. And like we was just saying, looking at this Chautauqua County one, it's like a piece of artwork, isn't it? It's beautiful.
And there were so many banks. Westfield at one point, over a period of time. They had 5 different banks
Let's
in
see how many.
Westfield.
Let's see how many you have now. They got 1, 2.
Well, yeah, that's true. But they were all individually owned by people, not by corporations. It was Hungerford and Foote and various people. So anyway, so that's I'm hoping it will be World War I, but I can't. You'll just have to wait and listen and see what happens. But it is, something is happening on November 4th.
Okay.
So that's our second thing. Next event is the holiday tea. We started that as an annual tradition last year at the McClurg. We do have a couple of pictures. I think there are 2 or 3 pictures of last year's
we can pop
version.
those up. I think we had this.
We started it, if you can go back to
I
the
think we had some wait staff, Jeff.
That's true. Anyway,
The one you popped up a minute ago with the ladies, I think. There we go.
there you go.
Oh,
So,
you're in there too.
Oh,
Look
I am
at
in
you
there.
all dressed
we
up.
were all in period things. Anyway, it started a few years ago, being held over at Easton Hall, and then we took over the project last year, and so all the profits from the tea go to the museum.
Okay, now we're looking at a photo
That's in
of
the
you-
dining room.
And this is at the McClurg?
At the McClurg just before people arrived.
Gorgeous.
So you can see, so the tea, it was called a holiday Victorian tea, served with linen tablecloths, real china, real silver, china teacups. All the waitstaff will serve on silver platters the various food that you're eating. It is $15 per person. It's a full meal. We'll have homemade chicken salad, tea sandwiches. We'll have homemade ham salad in little puffs. We'll have scones. We'll have 5 or 6 different kinds of Victorian
That sounds like fun.
desserts and things, and tea. And we can serve about 48. Last year I counted we had seating for 48. We're hoping to get 200 or 100 this year. No reservations. You just come. Last year it worked out just fine. I don't think anybody waited more than 2 minutes.
Wow. Now, as far as what you're wearing and the settings and things like that, is that original period stuff, or is
Well,
it...
mine is a reproduction that I
Okay,
use
what about
for
the
Hokkaido.
china? And
Oh, the china, we've gathered up stuff, like the teacups there, I call them old lady teacups, I probably
yeah.
shouldn't, but they're the 1940s, 50s English, and we've gathered up a collection of those, and I have around 100 of the linen luncheon napkins and china, various kinds. So it never matches. Each table will have a different whatever because
Sure.
they're all different.
It's like Grandma's collection.
Grandma's collection, and all the plates are all 1880s, 1870s plates, and the silver and everything like that.
So, when you say Victorian, I know that's a time frame. What era is that?
1870s, 1910 tea kind of
Okay,
thing.
all right.
We're loose on it. The tea served with silver teapots, and people love it. And it's and where do you get $15 to have basically a 2-course luncheon and be in the museum and have silver and linen and china?
Okay.
And served.
Now, people, again, listening may or may not know where the museum is, so could you tell them?
McClurg Museum's right in the center of the village of Westfield, right in the park. Can't miss it. You've got the big park right on the corner of 394 and Route 20, or Main Street, so it's Portage and Main, and it's right there.
The question I get quite often is, where do you park?
Well, that's a question we all get. I'm still working on getting a better way to get to the museum because it's literally grass in all directions. There is the driveway, but there's the big parking over on Easton, which is the village parking lot, and you can come across the grass, or you can park on 394 or Route 20 and come up the driveway and that kind of thing. It's a tough one. I want to get sidewalks between Portage and Elm with us in the middle.
But that's the way the estate was in its early
And
days.
it
You
never-
walked across the lawn
Right.
or gravel or whatever it was.
Or you came up
Okay,
in a
now,
carriage.
discerning minds want to know. This
Okay.
came in
Uh-oh.
for a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and it's a good question. Since it's a Victorian tea, is there a preferred tea that you serve?
We're not making tea that way. We have a box
Okay.
that one of our servers comes out, and in the box you have,
It's just like here at the studio, right?
yes, a box with choices
Justin
of all
comes out
kinds.
with
Oh, yeah,
chai
we
and
talked
orange.
about making our own tea loose in the kitchen and doing all that, but then you'd have one kind. So you can have one of 30 kinds of tea, and you take your tea out of there, and no, that doesn't qualify as Victorian real tea, but
All right, it's a concept here.
yeah, it's a concept, and that's one of the things. But yeah, and then you get they serve the hot water and the silver, and yeah.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Okay.
People had a lot of fun last year. It was a miserable snowstorm last year. It was on a Sunday.
Ooh.
Also, you can arrive by carriage.
How's that work?
Horse-drawn carriage.
How's that work?
Pick it up over at Easton Hall, because this is also the other thing I've talked about. That's the weekend for Christmas in the Village.
Mm-hmm.
And you pick up the carriage over at Easton Hall, and they'll bring you right up the driveway, so you don't have to worry about coming in. You can ride by carriage.
How cool is that? Now, Christmas,
Free.
It's all yikes. Christmas in the Village. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, Christmas in the Village happens on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So Friday night, and this is all the weekend before Thanksgiving, and it's always been that weekend. So Friday night, Santa comes to town at 6 o'clock, and the community is...
He's already at Walmart, by the way.
Well, he's taking a break. The community is expanding this whole thing. This year it's called a Dickens Holiday.
Yes.
And we're going to have all kinds of people in the park Friday night singing Christmas carols in period clothes. Everyone's getting their clothes made now. If they don't have them, and they'll be out in the park for that event, that could be really
I can't
exciting.
guarantee it, but I'm working on getting somebody to come here the week before in period dress to talk about
Okay,
it. So
well,
it should be fun.
So anyway, that's happening at 6 o'clock, and the lighting of the Christmas tree in the park. And then, so that's on Friday night, and I'm flipping over. And then there's Saturday. Well, and then we're also doing this caroling and everything during that period. There's also on Friday night, which is the 17th.
Yes.
I have to read this. I'm sorry. Don't
That's
look
okay.
at me. There's a Christmas carol is being performed by Kim Tenriero. I don't know the name. I'm sorry. That's at the First Presbyterian Church at 7 o'clock. There's a prologue at 6:15. That's that new Lakeshore Center for the Arts
Yes, I'm part
facility
of
at
that
the
group.
Presbyterian.
Yeah, I work with them.
So that's there. I'm not sure what the prologue at 6:15 means. So right after Santa Claus comes, you go over to the Presbyterian Church, which is right there, and it's the Christmas carols being read. And that is a $10 donation probably for the Lakeshore
Right.
Center for the Arts. So that's on Friday night. So there's a lot going on just on Friday nights, where it used to just be Santa came on a grape harvester and that was it. So on
A period. harvester.
Yes. On Saturday we've got from 8 to 10. It says breakfast with Santa at the Presbyterian Church.
Okay, so he's hanging out.
He's hanging out overnight. And then at 10 o'clock, there's the Patterson Library has a holiday fest of crafts and things like that, and trees, I've heard.
Oh, nice.
And then also we've got on Saturday and Sunday the Hall of Christmas at Easton Hall. And that is from 10 to 4 on Saturday and 10 to 4 on Sunday. And it's all kinds of artisans and craft people over at Easton Hall.
Good way to start your holiday shopping.
Right, that's the idea. And then also on Sunday is the Holly Tour. So the Holly Tour is now every other year, and the Holly Tour is from 12:30 to 5 on Sunday. Tickets are $10, and dessert will be served at the First Presbyterian. So we do a lot of eating at
I see that.
in Westfield.
Eating's
You can
good.
eat all kinds of things anywhere you want. So anyway, that's on Sunday. So it's a pretty big, you can find all kinds of things, and we
Sounds
pray
like a
for
lot of
nice
fun.
weather,
Nice
not
weather.
the snowstorm that we had last year.
no.
It was a blizzard. But even with a blizzard, we had people come for the tea from Jamestown.
Nice.
So
Nice.
anyway, so that's sponsored by the Village of Westfield and Lakeshore Center and us and the library, and it's a big event. So it's basically a 3-day event, and you can pick what you want to do.
Now-
It'll all be listed in the papers and things.
I mentioned that we're on WRFA on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Now, Jason Sample's involved with all this, right?
He's on our board.
He's on your board. So would you give a shout out to Jason, because he's part of WRFA?
Oh, yes, and he in fact, he just got, I sent him the thing on the lighthouse thing. He's our public relations guy for
That
the
helps when you're on the
museum.
radio, yeah.
So, and he knows exactly how to print it out and send it to whoever. So this will all be going through
Great.
that too. So yes,
So you got people from all over the county working on these projects.
right, because the County Historical Society has board members from all over.
Right, so it's
That's
just
the
not
idea.
Westfield, it's
No,
the
no, no.
whole
That
area.
we've expanded it to make sure we have everybody.
Okay.
If you can go back to some pictures after the ones with the ladies in the dining room, I think there's a couple more pictures.
Right,
of
they
that.
popped up
I
some
jumped-
cookies that are...
Oh, I didn't see it. I
There
was talking.
there was some, that's okay. So Jeff, if you want to pop those pictures up.
Find the cookies.
Oh, there's
While that's setting up the table,
Or is Nancy
No,
Hanks?
can go back. That's for the next event I'm talking
All
about.
right,
We haven't
we'll
got
back
there.
one.
More
All right.
food.
All right. Okay.
Ladies with the aprons, and then the next two after that, if I remember.
Okay. There they go. Oh,
Okay,
look
so
at
that's
that.
a picture that, see, we serve for the Victorian tea at the museum on the Saturday. It's in the parlor and the octagon parlor and in the dining room. So it's everywhere, and you can see there's the teacups and the china and the silver, and that's a table, and that's in the
That's the
parlor.
room I've played in, isn't it?
Right, right.
With the spooky baby?
Yes, cabbage head baby, I call it, yes. Yes.
You got to go there to appreciate
Yeah,
that.
you got to go
I'm
there
not going to
to
even talk about it.
Sometimes the
spooky baby.
curator at the museum has a warped sense of humor. But
All I
anyway.
know is that baby stares at me.
And also, you'll notice the vase with the poinsettias on it.
Yes.
We use everything. Those are old. We have a whole collection of old silver plate trophies from 1900. I think that's a Celeron Park diving trophy from somebody. It's like, what are you gonna do with them? Hey, we polish them
I
up and we
know
use them
the
once
feeling.
a year.
I know the
We use them for our events.
It looks perfect.
Yeah, so it's perfect. And people get to see it, and then they read whatever their trophy
And
is.
it brings back memories or
brings
starts
back-
a conversation.
Right. So they're from all over, but so that we
Would you tell my wife that that's important to reuse things and be creative? Because
Probably
she thinks
they're-
that I got a lot of junk.
Yeah, I think there's another picture, the cookie picture we did.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, probably some people are cringing, like, you're using what? The trophies? You're using them for...
But you're not drinking out of them. You
Yeah,
just-
and
you
they're
put flowers in
artificial
them.
flowers, so it's not water in them. They'd probably leak anyway.
Okay, so let's get that other
So
picture
I
up
think
there.
there should be a cookie pic.
Oh,
There we go.
look at
so
that.
So
Yum.
that's also in the dining room. You can see the... I think it's... Yeah, that's in the dining room.
Is that the tree in a mirror? that we're
That's a
looking at?
tree. That's a small tree
Oh,
in
it's
the
a
mirror.
small tree.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
reflected in the
Very
mirror
pretty,
and coming
though.
back the other way.
Has a very holiday feeling. Look at all the crystal and the
Cut glass punch bowl and
Yeah.
Yep,
So
and-
that's part of the Victorian tea.
I think this is actually from the next thing we're
All
gonna
right, so let's talk about the next
But if
thing.
you look at that picture, the Battenberg lace tablecloth, it's a big
Beautiful.
banquet table
Yeah.
lace, that came from the people who used to live in what's now the President's House at Fredonia.
Oh.
SUNY Fredonia,
Oh,
the
yes, I
President's
know
House.
which one you mean. All right, the
It's,
big white one
it's
here.
from, the granddaughter gave it, and when they gave it to us, they said, we don't want this in a cupboard somewhere. We want it
Use
used.
it.
So I don't use it for the summer party because there's too much spaghetti sauce, but for the cookie party, we do use it, and it survives just fine,
Okay.
and it's great, and people love it. So that's...
Okay, well, I promise to get you out of here in a couple minutes.
Uh-oh, I have one more thing I have to
No,
cover.
what I'm saying is let's
Okay.
move on to the next one, so that we don't
Okay,
forget.
so that was the holiday tea. Please come. That is $15. It's
All
a
right.
fundraiser. December 10th.
Okay,
Which is Sunday, we always have it the second Sunday of December, is our McClurg Holiday Open House. And that's December 10th from 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock. And it's homemade cookies and punch and coffee and wander around the building. And it's completely decorated for Christmas. The board comes in.
gorgeous.
All of this stuff is the holiday teas, Christmas decorations too. But you can come in for free and see the building and eat sugar till your heart's content.
and even a bigger bonus is you have Grammy Award-winning Kent Knappenberger.
That's right.
and students, Grammy
Oh, and
Award-winning.
go to the next picture. I think he's in that picture.
Okay, I don't-
As our background music, there we
There he
go.
is.
And that's in the corner in the parlor. It's just background music, but it literally is. We have the first Grammy Award winner
Yes.
for education is Kent, the guy playing the harp with the beard, teacher at Westfield Academy, and he comes in, and so where else can you find a Grammy Award winner playing background music at a museum?
There you go.
I think it's us.
And here's a piece of historical information. He was on the show when we had Reed Powers here, and and Kent let me carry his Grammy in the box. I couldn't
you
tou- I
can't
couldn't-
touch it.
I
You
couldn't
can-
touch it, but I
No,
could carry
no,
it in
yes,
the box
yes.
because he signed some papers or something.
Yes,
like that.
yes, they're very sticky on that
All right.
one. Yeah.
Well, John,
That's it.
I'm trying to honor your time frame here, so we got just like another minute or half a minute left. So, real quick, anything you want to share before you got to get going? Because I don't want to keep you.
We're open at the museum Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4, year-round.
And you can be a
Anything.
member, right?
You can be a member. For a membership is a very expensive $20 a year.
Wow.
And you'll get 4 newsletters sent to your house, and then you can come in for free. If you're not a member, you have to pay a big $5, but membership's only $20 for the year. But like I said, we're open year-round, 10 to 4,
Super.
Tuesday through Saturday, not Sunday, not Monday.
McClure Mansion in
McClure,
Westville.
right in the middle
of downtown.
It's all staffed by volunteers. We're all volunteers, different people every day. I'm there Friday and Saturday because I can't find anybody stupid enough to cover Friday and Saturday. And I said, yeah, I don't have a life. I'll do that.
Well, John, as always, it's been a pleasure having you here today, and I'm looking forward to dropping in, especially for some of these Christmas holiday things. So
Well, you can feel free to get dressed up on Friday night before the event and come over and sing.
I'll have to. Yeah, Marilyn Demmer was here trying to get me wrapped up. I'm actually playing that night in another town.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, listen, I'm going to let you go now, okay?
Okay.
So thanks a lot for coming by, and as always, don't be a stranger here and let us know what's going on. And so right now, folks, we're going to take a little station break, and we'll be right back with some community announcements. Thanks, John.
Listen
Did
to
it
me.
work?
I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice, she's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
Okay, and we're back. I'm Doc Hamels. You've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest who just left the studio is John and Paul Wolfe, the curator at the Chautauqua County Historical Society. And I hope that you enjoyed listening to the anecdotes that he shared and all the events that are coming up in the next couple months here in the Westfield area and across the county. As I said, there's always something going on. And right now I want to take the last part of the show to share with you some things that are coming up in Chautauqua County and you may be interested in. So let me get my first page here, and we're going to do an announcement, I believe. Okay, M&T Bank Foundation supports the Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center. Okay, this is an announcement. Thanks to a funding award from M&T Bank. Okay, right now we're looking at Shane Hawkins, and I'm not sure who all the other folks are. The M&T Bank Foundation, Infinity Visual and Performing Arts students will soon benefit from some new musical instruments and equipment. Infinity's Executive Director Shane Hawkins says the M&T Bank Foundation has generously provided funding for Infinity's equipment and instrument fund for a number of years. We are thankful for M&T for continuing to support this program annually and giving our students quality instruments and equipment to explore, experience, and excel. That's just plain awesome, folks. And that's what these programs need, is community support from all sectors of our community to keep things going for our kids and making a difference. So that is terrific news. Congratulations. If any folks also want us to know that they have a new student orientation. Music, art, dance, and theater students of all levels are welcome to enroll in private and group lessons. The Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center will hold a new student orientation and intake session on Thursday, October 19th, 2017. Contact the center at 664-0991 to register for a session and reserve your spot today. Students may also register online at infinityperformingarts.org, so that's infinityperformingarts, all one word, .org, to be contacted for an orientation slot. Orientation sessions last approximately 30 minutes, a tour of the Infinity Center, and opportunities to meet Infinity staff members and schedule lessons. If you haven't been to their new location, they used to be on 3rd Street, now they're over underneath the, let's see, the fire department. It's the old post office. The fire department's on the back, I believe. Anyways, great location, and if you know a young person that's interested, this is a great opportunity to help them expand their interest in those areas of the arts, and well, it's good stuff. Okay, let's move right along. Let's leave Jamestown. Let's go right back to Westfield. Today, this day, October 14th. I'm looking at the wrong words here. Saturday, October 14th, my home club of Westfield Mayville Rotary is going to have their annual Gold Rush, and that is going to start at 6 o'clock over at Easton Hall. They are offering a grand prize of $1,000. Tickets are $30, and you still can get them at the door. And if you're watching the show right now and you're not quite sure about the details, you can give Linda Dunn a call at 326-3012. Now let me tell you how this works. For $30, it's an evening of fun. You get a chicken and rib barbecue dinner, and basically it's a salad all the way through dessert, and usually there's soft drinks. And I am the master of the ceremony again this year. We put all the tickets in a big old turn barrel. We draw every single ticket out, and generally we start with the first one with a prize, and then every 10th one after that gets like $30, $50, $20, whatever. And then towards the very end, the last three tickets that are drawn, I believe it's like 150, 300, and 1,000. Don't quote me, but it's something like that. Every year I am there, and we give away $1,000 to somebody, and it could be you. So for $30, you get a nice dinner, lots of fun, and the part that people forget about is beforehand, if you get there, let's say 6 and you're not quite ready to eat, you can bring some munchies, or you can have any beverage that you choose to bring, and some snacks for during the drawing, because it does go for about another hour and a half after that. I encourage you to bring something like desserts or whatever to enjoy at your table. Okay, so the Rotary Gold Rush today, starting at 6 o'clock at the Easton Hall, and they do have tickets available still. Not a lot, but they have a few. Okay, the folks at the election department for the county want me to let you know that they're looking for inspectors. Okay, elections inspectors are needed for the upcoming 2017 general election. There will be one more training session held on October 16th, so that's Monday, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Training Center at JCC North Campus. All right, that's out on Route 20. Election inspectors must be registered as either a Democrat or Republican to participate. Contact the Board of Elections at 753-4580, or go for more information to VoteChautauqua, all one word, .com, VoteChautauqua.com. Election inspectors are paid, and believe it or not, it's crucial to our democracy. So play your part. If you're interested and you have the time and you want to spend the day working on this November 7th, check it out. They'll pay you. Okay. Community Blood Bank Blood Drive. Wait a minute. There's too many bloods in there. Community Blood Bank Blood Drive. I guess it all fits. Westfield Memorial Hospital is hosting a Community Blood Bank Drive on October 27th, coming up, in the Meyer Cottage in front of the hospital from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Community Blood Bank is the only provider of blood and blood products to all hospitals in Chautauqua County. Now, last week we had Ed Brooks here, and we were talking about the wound clinic, which was in the little building in front of Westfield Memorial Hospital, and that's called the Meyer Cottage. So again, they're looking for folks to donate blood October 27th from 11 to 4 p.m. Okay, Magazines and Munchies program returns with Girl Scouts. The holidays are fast approaching, and local Girl Scouts have just the right treat for you. Girl Scouts across Western New York will increase. Some mornings I just can't read. Let's start this again. The holidays are fast approaching, and local Girl Scouts have just the right treat for you. Girl Scouts across Western New York will increase their financial literacy and use digital platforms to engage customers to purchase candy and nut products, along with magazines and this is going on through the 28th of October. The community can support a local Girl Scout when they stock up on popular items like, here we go, Justin, dark chocolate mint penguins, dulce de leche owls, English butter toffee, makes your mouth water, peanut butter bears, dark chocolate caramel caps with sea salt, chocolate covered raisins, fruit slices, and new items, here we go, I just read these ones, dill pickle peanuts. I'm not sure about that one, but I know people that would love that. Salt and pepper cashew halves and a whole lot more. A list of items can be found on their website at gswny.org. So that'd be like standing for Girl Scouts Western New York, gswny.org. For non-edible treat, Girl Scouts are offering over 1,000 magazine subscription options. This is an easy way to purchase new titles or renew your favorite magazine, all the while supporting local Girl Scouts. And girls are able to use digital database to track their orders and send out electronic emails to their customers. That sounds really high tech. This Friends and Family program teaches girls 5 essential skills: goal setting, decision making, money management, people skills, and business ethics. And girls also learn the benefits of working together as a team, as well as earning money to support their activities throughout the year. So I'm sure they're working on a badge or some type of award for that. So that sounds like a lot of fun. John Wolfe just left, but let's remind you one more time, the Barcelona Lighthouse Informational Meeting. This is for the Friends of Barcelona. They're going to have an informational meeting at the Lighthouse from 9 to 10 on Saturday, October 28th. Anyone interested in being involved in the future of the Lighthouse? This sounds like a Randy Burt invitation. An informational meeting for the folks to work as a group to support and fundraise for this project are invited to come. So if you're interested, 28th from 9 to 10. Okay, let's see here. Then my buddies over at Rolling Hills Radio announced their 8th season. Okay, the Rolling Hills season, the 8th season will start on Monday, October 30th at Shawbucks over in Jamestown at 6:30. The show features Austin, quote, Walking Cane, and Bess Greenberg. Austin, a Walking Cane, calls Cleveland home. He offers original classic Delta blues, featuring slide guitar and soulful vocals. In 2015, he was the Blues Music Award nominee for the Best Artist Album by the Blues Foundation in Memphis. So, good people. And Bess Greenberg from Binghamton, New York, is recognized for rich, textured vocals and open-hearted lyrics. I'm not sure what that means. She performs on upright bass and a hollow body electric guitar. Okay, and Ted Hartley, who basically runs this program, will be joining us later on in November, and we're going to hear more about what's going on. So the doors open at 5:30. You've got what they call the Happy Rolling Hour, and the show starts at 6:30. So live music in Chautauqua County doesn't get much better than that, guys. Okay, over in Ripley, the Ripley Rod and Gun Club is letting you know that they're having an air rifle match, and that's coming up, I think it's, well, they said mid-October. I don't have an exact date. And November 5, weather permitting, starting at 9 a.m. Also, there is a fall turkey shoot on November 5 and 12th, starting at noon. And if you want more information about all this, go to the Ripley Rod and Gun Club on Facebook. Okay, and then I am going to skip over the last 2 things we'll talk about later on, Jeff, but I do want to remind people that later on today, starting at noon, I'll be hosting interviews with the following political candidates. At noon, we have Laurel Adams coming in, who's going to be running for County Legislative District number 19. At 1 o'clock, Leanne Lazzaroni, who's running for County Clerk. At 3 o'clock, George Borello, who will be running for County Executive. And at 4 o'clock, Ella Ames, who's also running for County Legislature for District 18. So I do encourage you to tune in around noon, and I'll see you on Destination Chautauqua just in a couple hours. So we'll see you all again next week right here at Access 5, and I'm glad you were able to join us, and we wanted to say good afternoon once more to our friends over in Jamestown. We'll see you all next week right here at 9 a.m. I'm Doc Hamels signing off. Have a great weekend and get out there and enjoy all the good things here in Chautauqua County. Stay tuned. Bye now.